Mason gets a start, his 5th ever start in Stanley Cup competition. He's played in 4 previous games with 2 wins, 2 losses, and a great goals against average of 1.75. Greg Millen. It's his 2nd straight start. He'll be the workhorse in the St. Louis net throughout the playoffs, and we'll get to see him every opportunity in this 4-out-of-7 series. Millen, in his 26th appearance, has won 11, lost 13, has a 3.20 goals against average, and almost had a shutout last night. Didn't have a lot of work. Made 2 key saves early in the 3rd, one on Ben Wilson and the other on Steve Thomas.
Bob Hall, your referee in this game tonight. The linesmen the same as last night, Kevin Collins and Dan McCourt. Here's the draw now as we get underway. Troy Murray opens with Rick Vaive and Dan Vincelette. Vincelette inserted to the Hawk lineup tonight. Here's a breakaway for Brett Hull. And a save by Mason. 11 seconds into the game. Brett Hull came streaking up the slot.
Well, no one on that side of the ice. Everyone on the far side. 4, 5 Hawk players on the far side of the ice. Brett Hull, closest to the puck, breaks in and cranks it high and hard, gets all of it, and I'm sure that dazed Mason got him around the left shoulder area, and what a save to start the game.
So Bob Murdoch, after finishing the regular season trying to get some line combinations after losing the first one here last night, opens the game with Troy Murray, with Vaive and Vincelette. Brown has been split up from Yanni. He's now with Ben Wilson as the defense pairing to start this contest. Here's the draw. Gingras, back of his own net now, cleared it up the middle to Gilmore. Doug Gilmore works it over the Hawk line against Wilson. Stops on the near side, rolled it to Gino Cavallini. He's tied up by Brown nicely. Vaive came away with it. Rick Vaive got it to Wilson to center. Wilson over the line, rolled it into the far corner. Vaive bounced it around to the near side, and after he did so, Paul Cavallini drilled him, and now Thomas a long shot, save, rebound, kick right to the doorstep. Millen able to cover it up there.
Steve Thomas, one of the few Hawks to have a couple of scoring chances in last night's game. Lets the long one crank. 10 feet inside the line. Millen makes the save. The rebound out front, but Troy Murray, I should say Rick Vaive, is tied up. His stick is tied up by Cavallini. He's unable to get to it. They come in. Troy Murray does and kicks at it, but Millen's able to freeze it.
Now it's Dennis Savard with Steve Thomas and Dirk Graham. Yanni paired up with Bob Murray on the defense. Face off to the right of Millen. Rick Mahar out there to try to check Savard, which he did very effectively last night. Here's the draw. Bob Murray shot it into the Blues zone. Bothwell there, cleared it to center, and Brian Sutter pushed it ahead. Yanni will play it for the Hawks. Gave it to Savard on the far side. Now he leaves it for Bob Murray back of the net. Murray trying to clear it. Brian Sutter held it in, a long shot well wide. Meanwhile, Thomas and Mahar in a huge collision. Both were slow to get up, but Mahar a little slower than Thomas. Now the play in the neutral area. Bob Murray gave it to Graham. He shovels it in. Taken by Benning. Put it around to the far side. It slides loose to center where Manson takes over. Manson's pass is picked off. Taken by Benning. Gave it to Fedorko. He drops it to Bothwell, who pushes it down into the Chicago zone. Manson put it to the near side. Pazlowski held it into the corner. Fedorko centered it. Picked out of the air nicely by Ludzik, who stole the pass. Now the Blues, McKegney. Trying to flip it ahead, couldn't get it through Nyland. Puck bouncing around at center. McKegney came up with it. Here's a 2-on-1. Pazlowski right in. Trying to center it. Nyland, a sliding play to block the pass. Over to the far side, Fedorko. Turns behind the net. Took a big hit from Nyland, who separates him from the puck. And it's cleared to center ice. 2 strong defensive plays by Nyland in his first shift of the game. Now the Blues look to move in, but Larmer broke up the rush to Vaive. For Troy Murray over the line. Murray to the far corner, turning. Now knocked down by Roberts, and out comes McKegney. McKegney, a long shot wide of the target. Wilson bearing to center. Gino Cavallini dumping it in. Now Ben Wilson. His pass well in front of Vive, sliding into the St. Louis zone. Taken by Gingras, or rather Benning. Brian Benning cleared it to the far side. Taken by Vive, who tries to dump it in. He hit referee Hall in the small of the back, I think. Then Troy Murray ran into Hall as he was turning. Tough couple of seconds for the referee. Now Ben Wilson in his own end to Vince Ouellette on the left wing board. He bounced.
Hi, I'm Charlie.
Now here the play in behind the Hawk net. Brown trying to tie up his man. It's centered by Gilmore, but Savard stole it to Graham. Back to Savard. He works it over the line, rolled it for Graham. The shot didn't get much on it, but Millen still had to make the save. Now Thomas tied up along the boards, and it bounced away back to center. Here comes Gino Cavallini. Rolled it over the line. Gilmore received it beautifully to Hall, shooting. Blocked at the defense. Now Cavallini back of the net. Tied up by Graham. Now a couple of other players join in. Centering pass. Hall's shot is blocked by Yanni. Back of the net, Bob Murray. Chopped it over to the far side. Paul Cavallini. His shot is blocked. A Hall of blast. Look out in the crowd as it's deflected upstairs. Now some pushing and shoving again around the net as Murray and Gilmore have words, but they cool off. Just underway in the arena. No score on Sport Vision and BBM.
I drive my Blazer, which is fun. I drove it over here. You know, it's about, what, 10 inches of snow outside now. And I saw this open parking lot. Nobody's in it. I'm like a kid with a toy. You know, what should I do? Should I try? Should I test it? I went out and it did the job. I did a couple of donuts. I mean, I must have an influence on them. I mean, Oakley's got a Blazer. Horace Grant's got a Blazer. Scottie Pippen's got a Blazer.
Twice in the early going, the right side is open as far as the Blues are concerned, but Gary Nyland with a great defensive play. McKegney to Paslowski. Paslowski with the return pass. Nyland slides in front of it and breaks it up beautifully. Then right after that, he knocked Fedorko off the puck in behind the net with a solid check. So a good start for Nyland.
Here's the draw to Paul Cavallini. His shot deflects to center. Taken by Gingras. To Mahar. He shoots it in. Now Wilson to the near side. Cochran had it bounce away. Came loose behind the Hawk net. Troy Murray put it around the boards. Paul Cavallini pinching to hold it in for Ragland. He centered it. Now a scuffle as Troy Murray and Brian Sutter just grab one another. Neither man seemed to be wanting to start throwing him. And now they just have hold of one another, and the linesman will pull them apart. And they'll be sent off. We've played 5 minutes, 0-0 on Sport Vision and WBBM.
Новая хоккейная форма купировки G самая лучшая для скорости, удобна, эластична и придает мне уверенность, потому что ты никогда не знаешь, кто в другой раздевалке.
For our game, this new Cooperall CG Pro Girdle is the best protection ever. Hitting or being hit. In the corners or grinding it out. I feel good because you never know who's in the other room.
Offsetting slashing penalties at 5:02. Troy Murray goes to clear it. He and Sutter get their sticks up at each other in behind Mason, and they joust a bit, drop their gloves, grab onto each other's jerseys, but too close for any damage. They both go to their respective penalty boxes.
Face off to the right of Mason. Now the draw all the way back into the Blues zone. Benning has to hurry with Thomas hustling after him. Benning turns on the near side. Now lost at Savard. Trying to feed Thomas, just bounced over his stick. And it shot to center ice. Now winds up back in the Chicago end. Yanni to play it there. Trent Yanni back of the Hawk net. Now gave it to Bob Murray on the far side. He took a big hit from Ragland, but pushed it up the boards. And it deflects to center, but the Blues shoot it right back in. Yanni once again. This time has some room to center. He shoots it in. Comes to the near side. And the Blues look to clear it, but Larmer held it in. Cuts into the slot. Centered it. Savard turns in behind the net. Now reversing. Savard centered it. Nyland the drive. Millen big save. Rebound. Scramble in front. They hack away at it. Nobody can connect. And it slides free back to center ice. Millen didn't have to make a tough save like that until the third period last night, so the Hawks able to pressure here a little bit sooner than they did 24 hours ago. Now Larmer over the line, fires, hit the side of the net. Rebound to the far board, and it deflects to center ice. Now Dwayne Sutter over the line to Ludzik. His shot didn't get through Bothwell. Comes to the corner. Larmer chopped at it. Ludzik lost the handle. And Pazlowski battles his way along the boards, trying to clear it. Can't get it out. Ludzik held it in nicely. Rolled it into the far corner. Roberts is there for the Blues. Got away from Sutter nicely. Now lost it to Ludzik, centering behind Larmer, though. And here come the Blues on the counterattack. Fedorko leads the rush over the line, near side, stopping. He centered one. Deflected just wide by McKegney. Wayne Sutter looking to freeze it. It's knocked loose, though. Picked off by Ludzik. And Steve Ludzik will dump it in as the Hawks head for a change. There's Gingras for St. Louis. Gingras motoring to center ice. Now hits the line to the far side. Flips it around the boards. Taken by Mike Krasinski. And he rolled it to center ice. Now Gingras hammers it back in. Wilson has room. Ben Wilson flips it to the neutral zone. Gilmore steals it, though. Back into the Hawk end it goes. There's Wilson back of his own net. Gave it to Vive on the right side. Now Brown to center. Back to Vive along the board, but Paul Cavallini stopped him. Here comes Gilmore. Gilmore crossing the line. Fires. Deflected over the glass and into the crowd. Just under 12 minutes to go in a scoreless first period on Sport Vision and WBBM.
Wow, my folks just bought me a brand new two-seater sports car at Schaumburg Toyota. They're the Midwest's largest volume Toyota dealer. Like, my two-seater has 4 on the floor, stereo cassette, and more luggage room than Mom's station wagon. And it sure is more fun to drive.
This week, you can own a new two-seater for $49.95. That's right, $49.95. We believe no one sells new Toyotas for less. Schaumburg Toyota, 875 West Golf in Schaumburg.
Hawks with more chances in the early going than they had maybe in the first 40 minutes. Dennis Savard in behind the net. Out front to Gary Nyland from the top of the circle. The hard wrist shot to the blocker side. Millen gets a piece of it. Larmer just unable to get the rebound as the Blues do a good job of tying up the Blackhawks sticks as they're unable to pull the trigger.
For a second in that scramble, Dale, all 5 St. Louis skaters were inside the hash mark.
Well, those point men are going to be open then if that's the way they're going to play it.
Now, here's the draw to the Hawks. Savard wheels to center, puts it over the line. Graham centered it. Savard tipped it just wide. Didn't miss by much. Back come the Blues. Ragland gave it to Mahar. His pass picked off by Bob Murray. He's got it in his glove, and I think he's going to get away with it. As he claims to have it lodged in the uniform, it looked, though, like he grabbed it with his gloved hand.
Well, he had to. That was a dangerous situation. Waist-high deflection and a couple of Blues players bearing in on him. And he was the last man back, so he wisely covered up, pretended like he didn't know where it was. And that was a good play by Bob Murray with Brian Sutter right there on the doorstep, ready to pounce on a loose puck, if any. The Blues have had one shot in the first 8 minutes and 40 seconds, and that was 11 seconds into the period. Hull on a breakaway, and Mason made a great save.
Bob Murray now back of his own net. He gave it to Vincelette, who clears to center. Bouncing there, back to Vincelette. He shoots it in. Taken by Paul Cavallini. It's cleared around to the near side. Vasilevsky whacked at it, but Yanni held it in. Rings it around the boards. Bob Murray, far side, took a hit from McKegney. Now the puck jumped loose to the far corner. Vincelette had Roberts ducking out of the way. Is Dan Vincelette looking to play the body. Roberts didn't look like he wanted much to do with that. But the Blues able to clear it to the Hawk line. Now Yanni clearing to center. Here's Troy Murray. He overskates it. Brett Hull takes it away from behind. And Hull, weaving at center, now forced to dump it in. Here's Nyland. Put it to Vive, now taken by Ludzik. He steps over the St. Louis line, turns on the far board, threw it across for Nyland. His pass deflecting into the corner. Now came to Nyland at the line, a long drive up off the glass. Ludzik and Gino Cavallini bump hard. Cavallini right after Ludzik. Gets him in a headlock. Cavallini took a big hit from Ludzik and took exception to it, and now they wrestle down to the ice. Cavallini may have gotten in one right, but it didn't look like there was much punching going on, but it certainly would appear that Cavallini, the aggressor in this altercation. We'll see how referee Hall calls it in a moment. We're halfway through the first. No score on Sports Vision and BBM.
You get it done. That's why others can depend on you. And you want a truck that won't let you down. It's got to carry its load. No nonsense. Just good old-fashioned sweat and muscles. The 88 Toyota 4x2. It all starts at your Toyota dealer. He'll help with a deal that makes sense for you. Great truck, great deal. But you got to go see him. Because all work isn't your kind of style. So head to your Toyota dealer and ride with the best.
Steve Ludzik with a good hard check on Cavallini. Got the stick and elbow up. Cavallini took exception to it. He gets a minor for instigating and 5 minutes for fighting. The Hawks get their first power play. The penalty's coming at 10:07.
Hawks just 1 for 7 last night on the power play, and the one goal they scored was too late to make any difference in the game. So let's see if they can get a little better start with the special teams tonight. Dennis Savard has Larmer and Vive out there with Bob Murray and Trent Yanni at the point. Savard and Mahar for the draw. It's 1 to Bob Murray. Murray along the far board. Left it for Savard. Back pass for Yanni. Yanni to the near point with it. Now rings it around the board. Robert Dirk back of the net. Lost it to Larmer. Larmer on the far side. Sets up shop there. Back of the net for Savard. Dennis Savard put it back to Larmer. Now to the line and Murray. Deep slot to Yanni. Now he and Murray play catch. Then it came to Larmer. He centers one. It bounced over Savard's stick. The Blues corral it and clear it to center. Larmer right back over the St. Louis line. Knocked down by Bothwell, who steals and cleared it to center ice. Now Bob Murray back to center, trying to feed Savard. He has to turn back. Then lost the handle to Gilmore, who clears it down all the way. A minute remaining on the Chicago power play. Here's a steal as Mason gave it right to Roberts. He centers one, stolen by Graham. Graham feeding Troy Murray. He races over the line, left it for Wilson, a drive. Millen got a piece of that on a deflection. Rebound, Troy Murray cuts in, centered it. Graham couldn't get any wood on that. Wilson holds it in. Fired it in behind the net. Taken by Thomas, out to the line, held in beautifully by Brown to Wilson. Now Graham on the near side. Trying to center one, bounce in front, a shot, big save by Millen. Troy
Millen with an unbelievable start to this first period. The Hawks really jumping. A lot more jump to their step tonight than they had last night. Some good opportunities early. Ben Wilson gets it into Dirk Graham. He tries to pass it. It's poked away by Gilmore into the feet of Roberts. He hacks it, Graham does, to Troy Murray, and Millen got a piece of it with the inside of his left skate and then was able to cover up. Prior to that, though, Ben Wilson on a drop pass from Troy Murray got all of it. A blast through the legs of Roberts. Millen got a piece of it. It might have hit Roberts as well, and it deflected wide. The Hawks looking to get a break offensively. There, they could have had one very easily. 7-1 the shots on goal, and the Hawks off to a good start.
20 seconds left on this power play for Chicago. Face off to the left of Millen. Now the draw to the line, and Brown moving in, shoots one. Millen saw it all the way, and he'll hang on for a whistle.
The draw won cleanly by Troy Murray to Brown. Brown pumped once and then elected to shoot it. Waist-high shot. Millen, as you said, saw it all the way and makes for an easy save.
Murray and Mahar. Now Mahar wins this draw, but Murray gets to it far corner. Put it to the line, and Brown across for Wilson. Near board to Graham. He put it back to the line. Now to the far side, and Troy Murray. Murray into the corner, is tied up. Now the Blues penalty is over. Both teams back at full strength. Here's Brett Hull carrying over the Hawk line against Wilson. Tied up, but on comes Sutter shooting right through the goal mouth, and Mason may have gotten a piece of that. Now Troy Murray for Chicago. Murray deep in his own end, got it to Graham. He's tied up. Hall stole it, then Wilson got it back and shot it into the St. Louis zone. Gaston Gingras to Tony McKegney. Now Benning. Brian Benning walks over the line, turns on the near side, centered it. McKegney in traffic, kicks it in front, stolen by Rusinski, but a penalty coming up here against the Blackhawks. 7 minutes to go in the first, no score. The Blues to the power play after this on Sport Vision and BBM.
Dave Manson gets a penalty for a holding in front of the Hawk net, and the Blues will get their first power play. The Blues last night with 3 power play goals, and those power play goals were the difference.
Here's the draw in the Hawk zone to the far side. Now to the line, and Benning over to the far board. Pazlowski trying to center one, but it deflects back into the St. Louis zone. Gingras forced deep by Steve Larmer. Now taken by Benning. He bounced one to Fedorko. He threw it to center ice. Here comes McKegney. McKegney gains the line, left it for Pazlowski to the trailer. Benning fakes the shot to Fedorko, far corner. Rolled it back of the net, Pazlowski. Greg Pazlowski to Fedorko along the board. Centered one, they scored! Tipped in by Greg Pazlowski. And the Blues out in front, 1-0.
Well, the Blues can do nothing wrong. Pass right across the goal mouth by Fedorko in the corner. Pazlowski starts the play in behind the net, banks it off the end boards to Fedorko. Fedorko's in the corner, takes the slap shot, slides it across, and Pazlowski gets position and tips it in. Great play from Fedorko. Pazlowski made the original pass to Fedorko, moved back out front, wasn't taken out of the play, and the pass went right through 2 defensemen, and Pazlowski puts it in.
Here come the Blues again. Herkus a shot as he fought off a Ben Wilson check. But Mason able to make the save.
Another power play goal for the Blues. After the Hawks dominated the first 12 minutes and 52 seconds of the first period, the Blues get the lone goal and get the lead.
That Pazlowski power play goal from Fedorko and Benning at 13:34. And the crowd alive now in the arena. Face-off will be to the right of Bob Mason. Here's the draw, taken by Brown. Now Thomas starts away. Knocked down by Sutter, but he's able to clear it to center. Now came to Wilson in his own end. He shot it to the neutral zone. A steal by Graham away from Benning. Steps over the line, fakes the shot, down the drive. Scores! Graham! A great fake to get Millen down and out of the play. Then he popped it into the open net. 1-1 now.
Ben Wilson tried a quick pass up the middle. It missed everyone. Benning stopped it. Fell down right at the dot at center ice. Graham poked it away, broke in, and he did the exact right thing against Millen. Faked the shot because Millen comes out of the net, and then he goes wide and beats him to tie the game. Good play by Dirk Graham. You've got to fake it against Millen because he comes way out of the net to challenge. Nice play by Graham to tie the game.
First playoff goal for Graham and his 25th of the year at 14:09. It's unassisted. The Hawks have tied it at 1. Play in the St. Louis zone. Dirk on the far side. Trying to clear it. And it does wind up back at center ice. Taken by Nyland. Nyland clearing it up the boards. Now Dirk rolled it to center. Pazlowski for McKegney over the line. Pulled down by Manson. That'll be a penalty. As soon as the Hawks get control, now the whistle sounds. Sutter took a run. Dwayne Sutter took a run at Pazlowski. And the whistle is sounded, and now a little shoving again behind the Hawk net. But everybody's starting to separate. The Blues will go back to the power play. It's 1-1 on Sports Vision and WBBM.
When you've been in a neighborhood as long as I have, customers become more than faces. They become friends. It's great to know that you've given families a familiar place to go for reliable hardware and sound advice for a lot of years. There's a comfortable hometown feeling that can't be bought or imitated. You just know when you fit in somewhere, when you really belong, no matter what changes go on around you.
We've got what it takes, true value.
McKegney has a step on Manson along the far boards. Manson pulls him down, gets his second straight penalty. This one for hooking at 14:44. The Blues will get their second power play. Then after that infraction, Sutter and Pazlowski got involved to the right of Mason, and they both get sent to the penalty box. All the penalties coming at 14:44, so the Blues should get a power play out of this situation.
For hooking. The broadcast rights to this game have been granted to Sports Vision and WBBM News Radio 78 by the Chicago Blackhawks solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any reproduction or other use of this program without the consent of Sports Vision or WBBM is prohibited.
For hooking, Dwayne Sutter, 2 minutes for roughing. Greg Pazlowski for St. Louis, 2 minutes for roughing.
Sutter and Pazlowski each get roughing penalties, and Manson the hook at 14:44. The Blues been making a living on their power play in the early going in this series. Now they crank it up again. Face off to the right of Mason. Fedorko, Hall, and McKegney out there, along with Benning and Gingras. The draw to Benning at the far point. Near point to Gingras. Back to Benning to the far side, and taken by Hall. Back of the net to Fedorko. Fedorko, the Hull far corner. Brett Hull back to Fedorko. Centered it for Hull. A shot didn't get through. Bouncing into the air, and Mason will glove it and hang on.
Red Hull, a very dangerous man. He can let it go in a hurry, and he lets it go hard. Troy Murray was able to deflect it. The puck floated up into the air towards the net. And Mason very wisely just put the glove on it and forced the face-off. Blues had an edge last night in face-offs, important face-offs, that is. Fedorko, the last draw, won it cleanly. Right back to Benning.
This one to the left of Mason. The draw into the near corner. Brown trying to shovel it. It hit a leg to Yanni. Trent Yanni able to clear it down all the way. Brian Benning tied up by Savard, but Gingras carries on. Cleared it ahead to Fedorko, sending it in. Mason shot it to the far side. Larmer is tied up. McKegney held it in. It's chopped in front to Fedorko. Put it to Gingras. He fanned on the one-timer. Rebound near side. Savard fires it down all the way. A minute remaining on the Blues power play. The game tied at 1. 4 minutes to go in the first period. As Benning shoots one in. Bad bounce off the glass. Wilson chopped at it. Now let's see a whistle on the play, and the Blues may have been offside, or actually they're going to call it icing, it looks like. Well, that's what it is, and it'll come back all the way into the St. Louis zone.
With 45 seconds remaining on the penalty. With that whistle, Steve Ludzik comes out of the penalty box. Cavallini still remains on the St. Louis side of the penalty box.
Face off to the left to Greg Millen. Doug Gilmour, who had 2 assists last night, able to get this draw from Murray. And here comes Roberts to Gilmour. Long backhand pass taken by the Blues over the line. Here's Roberts to the near side. A shot by Cavallini hit somebody in front. Picked up by Graham. Graham will waste a little time turning at center. Dropping it into his own zone. He's going to have to chase after it himself. He gets there and bangs it to center. Troy Murray rolled it to the St. Louis line. Now Doug Gilmour ahead for Tony Herkus. Herkus put it to Sutter, left it for Gilmour. He had it bounce away, coming to the near side, now loose to the far circle. Herkus has it there. The Hawk penalty is over. Both teams at full strength. And Steve Larmer comes out of his own end. Speeding Savard, racing over the line, splits the defense. He's in. Diving poke check. Great play by Roberts. Gordy Roberts saved a possible breakaway by a diving poke check to knock it away from Savard. Here's Herkus the other way. His shot is blocked at the defense. Came to the near side. Larmer picks it up and bounce one to center ice. Savard tries to take a dive there, but the play continues. Now on the far board, Gilmour sends it into the Chicago zone. Troy Murray back for it. On speed to Dwayne Sutter. His pass stolen by Mahar. Then Bob Murray took it back. And he hammers it down into the St. Louis zone. Benning will have to play it. Brian Benning works his way to center. His pass picked off by Nyland. Now Troy Murray put it on the stick of Insolette. He carries it over the line, then Mahar took it away. His pass deflecting into the far corner. Troy Murray there, turns behind the net. Murray tied up nicely by Benning, and the puck cleared back into the Chicago zone. A minute and a half to go in the first period. The game tied at 1 as the Hawks dump it in. Tony McKegney around to the near side. It bounced loose to center. Taken by Bob Murray. He dumps it in. Then I think it hit the linesman on the far side, Collins, and deflects into the seat.
That whistle now. Manson and Cavallini and Pazlowski all come out of the penalty boxes. With a minute 19 to go in the period, Bob Murray trying to shoot it in high and hard off the glass. One of the dump-ins last night, most of them are, the boards are dead and corners are deep here, and it's tough to get the puck in around, but I think the Hawks in this particular game are going to try and dump it in off the glass. Bob Murray tried to do so, got under it and shot it into the seats. But the Hawks have had an excellent first period. They should be ahead. The Blues have had 3 shots on goal, but I don't know how they got credit for the other 2, but they did. Their first one was an excellent chance, only 11 seconds into the period, and that's the only chance they've had other than the goal.
Now the face-off at center ice, the draw. Everybody hacking at it. Now it's corralled by Yanni, chipped it to center. Bothwell sends it back in. Bob Murray back of the goal. Now Murray hammered it right off the backside of Yanni. Raglan steals, centers one. Mason mishandled it. Back of the net goes Raglan. Put it to the line. Benning a long shot blocked by Savard. The race is on. Savard able to catch up to it. And then his pass just missing Thomas. He barrels into the far corner. Thomas digging it out. Thomas with a pass, but Raglan stole that. Here's a lead for Gilmore over the line. Fires. He scores! Doug Gilmore with half a minute to go gives the Blues a 2-1 lead.
Steve Thomas with a unnecessary move. Instead of keeping it deep in the corner, he tried to make a blind pass into the deep slot. It was intercepted. The Blues come down the other way. A nice pass from Raglan. Perfect pass over the stick of Brown. Gilmore from the top of the circle on the far side from a sharp angle blows it by Mason on high to the stick side. Oh, got to keep it deep in the last minute of play. You've got possession, put it in deep. If you haven't got a player, you're not sure. Thomas went the other way, made a blind pass, and it results in a goal. Meanwhile, Ben Wilson's in the penalty box, obviously for unsportsmanlike conduct, or he got the stick up on Gilmore after the goal, and that's an unnecessary penalty. Well, Gilmore scores with 33 seconds to go. The Hawks had possession in the offensive zone and should never have given up that chance.
Gilmore assisted by Raglan at 19.
Gilmore from Raglan at 19:27. And then Ben Wilson roughed up Gilmore well after the goal was scored. And Wilson sent off at 19:27. Here's Pazlowski over the line to Fedorko near side. Bernie Fedorko setting up shop along the boards. Deep slot to Gingras, the long shot tip, and a save by Mason. Rebound Brown. Trying to clear it. Blues hold it in. McKegney far corner is tied up by Brown. He'll run out of time. And the first period has come to an end. Now another discussion after the play is stopped. McKegney and Ludzik had words. McKegney took a little swat at Ludzik with his stick. Didn't do any damage, and everybody else gathers around, but now they cool off. So in the first period, St. Louis again able to cash in on the power play. Greg Pazlowski scored from Fedorko and Benning at 13:34. The Hawks got it right back on Dirk Graham's unassisted goal. His first of the playoffs and 25th of the year at 14:09. And then Gilmore, seconds ago from Raglan at 19:27, put St. Louis back in front. The Hawks with 8 shots in the first period, and the Blues with 6. News, weather, and sports coming up on the radio side. On television, Dale will have a visit with the injured star defenseman of the Blackhawks, Doug Wilson. After 20 minutes of play, St. Louis 2, Chicago 1. Nearly as many offensive chances in the first 20 minutes tonight as they did in the full 60 last night, but the Blues cashed in on their fewer number of chances, and St. Louis leads it here 2-1 as we get ready for the second period.
Our next Blackhawk game on Sports Vision will be Tuesday at 7:30 when the Hawks take on the same St. Louis Blues in Game 5 of the best-of-7 series. Join Pat and myself live from the arena in St. Louis at 7:30 on Sports Vision and 7:20 on WBBM. The Hawks and Blues return to Chicago Stadium Saturday for Game 3. Game time on WBBM is 7:20, and there's still a lot of good seats available for both Saturday and Sunday's game.
All right, the Blues, remember, start the second period with a power play. That late penalty to Ben Wilson well after Gilmore had scored. So the Blues start here with the extra man for a minute and a half. The draw, shot down into the St. Louis zone. Back of the net, Fedorko. Bernie Fedorko, the all-time leading scorer in the history of the St. Louis franchise, has achieved over 1,000 points in his great career. Now the Blues dumping it in. Keith Brown on the far side. Tied up in the corner, dug out of there by McKegney to the line. The long shot, Mason the save as Gingras ripped one. Back of the net, McKegney took a bump from Yanni. Now came loose to the line. Gingras holding it in. Near point to Benning. He centers one. Bounce to Fedorko on the far side. Fedorko hanging on. Now looking to make a play. Fedorko still with it. Fans on a pass, and Yanni steals and clears.
Thank you very much. Fedorko doesn't do that very often.
Now a quick outlet to Fedorko, chipped it ahead, but Troy Murray hustled to steal and clears it down all the way. Now Millen gave it right to Murray on the far side. He's bumped off the play. Murray walks in, now shooting. Blocked at the defense. Rebound to the goal mouth, taken there by Gingras. Now the Chicago penalty is over, and both teams are back at full strength. Here's Brett Hull stepping over the Hawk line. Gets it into the far corner. Nyland took a run at him there. Bob Murray takes it away, then gave it right back to Hull. Brett Hull into the deep slot, then got it to Cavallini. A drive right on. Mason, big save. And the Hawks fire it back the other way. Icing waved off, so Roberts has to play it. Clears it into the Hawk zone, taken by Yanni. Trent Yanni gave it to Keith Brown. Works it over the line, centered one, picked off to Gilmore. He got it to Gino Cavallini, a long blast wide of the net. And the Hawks clear it to the neutral zone. Blues try to move back in. Here's Herkus to the near corner. Tony Herkus tied up by Brown. Now Bozek in to dig it out. Got around behind the net. Center one. Yanni blocked the pass beautifully. And Mason out to play it. Indecisive. Almost coughs it up, but Brown able to help him out. Got it to Dwayne Sutter. Now Yanni gets it over the line. Centering. Deflected too far for Vincelette. Dwayne Sutter tied up by Paul Cavallini. And Roberts comes to take it away. Now cleared it to center ice. Stolen by Savard. Savard knocked down by Paul Cavallini. And now Herkus clearing it back into the Blackhawk end. Dave Manson. His pass bounced away from Graham. Now Graham got to it. Cleared it to Manson. He gains the line. Manson to the far corner. Chipped it in behind the net. Everybody hacking at it there. Dug loose by Thomas. Trying to center it. Graham couldn't stuff it in. Taken by Pazlowski. He fires it back into the Hawk zone. Mahar racing after it. He'll get there first. Centering. Just missed Brian Sutter. Now Pazlowski a drive. Missing the net. Near board Mahar. Trying to center one. It's deflected back to the neutral zone, though. Now the Blues dump it back in. Here's Thomas. He coughs it up to Fedorko, but the play is ruled just offside. We've played 4 minutes of the second. 2-1 St. Louis on Sport Vision and BBM.
Hi, I'm Charlie, the Midnight Mechanic at Schaumburg Toyota. We're the Midwest's largest volume Toyota dealer, so the factory just shipped us an extra 300 trucks. That's 300 trucks that we can't afford to keep in our inventory. So I'm burning the midnight oil, getting them ready for our biggest truck sale ever. We're cutting prices and making deals, and I don't believe you'll ever buy a new Toyota truck for less. Like this new Toyota pickup for only $49.95. That's less than our dealer cost, $49.95. Right now at Schaumburg Toyota, 875 West Gulf in Schaumburg.
Troy Murray's first attempt, he knocks down Gingras. The puck comes right back to him as Graham swats it. Top with the dot. He cranks it up, but it hits the defenseman, doesn't get through. When things are going right offensively, those shots get through, and they either go in or the goaltender has to make a tough save.
Now, at center ice, Ben Wilson. Flips it to the near side. Robert Dirk shoots it in. Taken by Wilson. His pass deflecting, then Wilson and Murray collide. Puck loose in the Hawk zone. Vive got to it, then gave it away. Ragland centered it. McKegney turns around, couldn't pull the trigger. They hack at it in the slot. A Hawk penalty is coming. A shot. Mason rebound right through the goal crease. And now the whistle sounds, and the Blues will go back to the power play. St. Louis 2, Chicago 1 on Sports Vision WBBM.
A great newspaper should do more than give its local readers the latest sports.
Questionable call last night.
It should give fans everywhere the same story.
Bum call last night.
The Chicago Tribune does that every morning, with editions printed by satellite.
That call last night stunk.
So everything you read is hot off the presses, whether you're in Chicago,
This thing's like a rock.
or the Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
What do you expect? It came all the way from Chicago.
You may not always get the freshest bagels, but you always get the freshest sports. We was robbed.
Blues will get their fourth power play chance. They're 4 for 10. Keith Brown for a holding at 4:41 after the Blues had some good pressure. Now at the other end, at the St. Louis end, where the Blues players come out, the broken pane of glass.
That's them guys. That's why. So they'll need a second or two to replace a broken piece of glass.
Our next Bulls game on Sports Vision will be tomorrow at 7:30. The Bulls will host the New York Knicks. Join Jim Durham and Johnny Kerr live from Chicago Stadium tomorrow at 7:30. Only on Sports Vision. Chicago's winners on cable.
We've played just over 4 minutes of the second period. 2-1 Blues on Sports Vision and WBBM.
For years, transportation in the suburbs meant one thing: 2 cars. But that's not true anymore. Now you can go everywhere in the suburbs by bus on the Pace Bus. It stops minutes from your door, and it runs on schedule. We make sure of that. After all, with this kind of competition, we can't afford to be late off the blocks. See the light. Take the bus. You'll like our pace.
Pat Foley and Dale Talon back in St. Louis. The glass has been replaced, and the Blues will get ready to head into the power play situation.
Well, we got a surprise visit today or tonight in the booth. Keith Magnuson, president of the Chicago Blackhawk alumni and former Blackhawk defenseman, along with Bill O'Rourke, the president of Coca-Cola Chicago Bottling Works here, and dropped in to say hello. Surprise visit. They decided the last minute to come and watch the Blackhawks and Blues.
And our friend Billy wants his daughter Christine, who's a great Hawk fan, to know that he's alive and well here in St. Louis. And I'm sure she's jealous she's not with him. Here's Benning now with a long shot, missing the net. Rebound out to the far point. Gingras held it in. Along the boards for Gilmore. Back to the line. Gingras chipped one in front. It just sailed wide of the far post. Nyland picks it up, clears it, and it deflects into the crowd.
One thing the Blues are doing, they're letting a lot of shots go from the point. They're not trying to be too cute. They're letting the shot go, crowding the front. Paslowski last night was in front of the Hawk net at every opportunity when the puck was at the point, especially on the power play. Gilmore will take the draw. Brett Hull is on the left side for the faceoff with a right-hand shot. Cavallini is on the opposite side, and Benning and Gingras on the points. 2 good shooters.
But Ludzik takes care of that by winning the draw, and the Hawks clear it down. Taken by Benning. Gave it to Hull on the right wing boards. Brett Hull works his way to center ice. Now shoots it in. Gilmore far corner. Put it to the line. Gingras to Gilmore along the boards. Gilmore now trying to center one. Ben Wilson blocked it. And Ludzik able to clear it to center. Dwayne Sutter sends it down the rest of the way. Here's Brian Benning. Benning feeding Gilmore over the line. Trying to center one. It hit the skate of Yanni. To the line, Benning holds it in. Near side, Gilmore. Far point to Gingras. Along the boards, Hull centered it. Blocked right back to him. Hull put it in front. Picked off at the defense. Now McKegney has control. Out to the line, Gingras, the long shot. That deflects wide. Picked up by Graham. Clears it down all the way. Now Gingras moves out of his own end. Cleared it to the Hawk line. Wilson steals, clears it down the other way, and that'll do it for the Hawk penalty. Both teams are now back at full strength. Gingras for Fedorko. He couldn't hold the pass. Taken away by Wilson. Now Fedorko gets it back at center ice. And it's stolen by the Hawks, but they move in offside on the play.
Good job by the Hawk penalty killers there in a must-kill situation. Trailing 2-1. The Blues that happened to score on that power play, they'd be obviously in great shape, and it would have to be a demoralizing situation for the Hawks, even though they've had a good game. To find themselves trailing by 2 instead of with an opportunity to tie. It might have been tough for them to bounce back. But now they can go on from this penalty kill and go and get that equalizer.
Here's the draw. Taken by Benning for St. Louis. Brian Benning carries it into the Hawk zone. Rolls it around behind the net. Mahar back to the near side. Fired it behind the goal. Ragland centered it. Brian Sutter at his pocket pick nicely by Savard, though. Dennis Savard knocked down for a moment. Now Mahar took it away to Ragland in the corner. Centering. Savard gets it back to Vide. Rig 5. Now fakes a shot. Gets it over the St. Louis line to the near corner. Bothwell knocked it away there, and Brian Sutter able to roll it to center ice. Ragland sends it into the Chicago end. Taken by Ludzik. And now Wilson. Ben Wilson back to Ludzik. He tries to dump it in and hammered one up into the seats. And everybody ducking in that area. 12 minutes to go in the second. 2-1 Blues on Sports Vision and BBM.
Decisions. A painting project is full of them. Formulas, finishes. This time make just one decision to trust True Value Hardware stores and their spatter-resistant True Test Easy Care paint. Flat enamel is scrubbable, yet leaves a rich flat finish. Kitchens and bathrooms need scrubbable semi-gloss, or choose flat finish for velvety walls. And one special ingredient sets Easy Care paint apart. The unique personal service you'll find only at True Value Hardware stores.
Now the draw at center ice, taken by the Blues. Fedorko dropped it into his own end. Roberts gave it to McKegney. Tony McKegney a long drive. Mason kicks it up over the glass and into the crowd. And now a fight at center. Here's Roberts all over Sutter. Dwayne Sutter and Gordy Roberts, and it looked as if Roberts may have gotten an edge in the battle. And the linesmen are in there. And now they're separated. So Dwayne Sutter and Gord Roberts will head off. Roberts may have been cut, it appears. And will Update you in a second. 2-1 St. Louis on Sports Vision and WBBM.
It's a sweep. The top 3 places in the Motor Trend Import Car of the Year competition go to Honda, CRX SI, Civic, and Prelude. Good news travels fast.
Dwayne Doug Sutter in the penalty box. He and Gord Roberts right at center ice go toe-to-toe, get some good rights in. And Sutter cut Roberts with a good straight right above the eye, and they'll both get 5-minute fighting penalties. Penalties coming with 11:37 to go in the second period. And Sutter's been feisty in the first 4.5 periods.
Face-off will be to the right of Mason. Dennis Savard and Rick Mahar go for the draw on the face-off. Taken by Bob Murray. Lost it to Mahar. Trying to center one. Ragland gave it to Mahar to the line. Benning, a long shot. Mason a save. Rebound Thomas. His pass picked off. Mahar knocked off the play. Here's Savard racing ahead, but his pass didn't get through to Thomas, or he would have been in. Now Thomas barrels over Bothwell. Here's Sutter knocking Thomas from behind in a big scramble along the board.
Thomas was irate. He was run over by Ragland on the far side. Then Savard had him behind Bothwell. Bothwell at the last second deflected the pass. And then Thomas took a run at Bothwell. And then Sutter came in. And then all the players came in. And Thomas got the elbow up and really hammered that defenseman Bothwell.
So referee Hall has some decisions to make.
Well, Brian Sutter's gone to the penalty box, and now I'm not quite sure who it is, but it looks like Steve Thomas will go to the other penalty box. I'm sure there'll be offsetting penalties. Brian Sutter in the one side of the penalty box, Dwayne Sutter on the other side, and the Blackhawks side. And the Sutters, Brian, Dwayne, and Darrell will be featured in our second intermission.
Number 32.
Quite
Steve
interesting
Thomas.
Conversation I had with all 3 of them.
They let you get in a word edgewise.
Whatever they wanted, they get.
Time of the penalties, 8:51. Steve Thomas, 2 minutes for high sticking. Brian Sutter, 2 minutes for charging.
Coincidental minors to Thomas and Sutter at 8:51. And the face-off will be outside the St. Louis line. You know, it's really amazing when you think back, Dale, to the fact that surprisingly, even though the Hawks and the Blues are in the same division, there is a good rivalry, but this is the first time in 5 years that these teams have played each other in the playoffs.
1983 in the division semifinals, the Blackhawks in a 3-out-of-5 series won 3-1. Blackhawks have never lost a playoff series to the Blues, and they've met 4 times.
In fact, the Hawks are 14-5 now in overall playoff games against St. Louis. Here's McKegney away for the Blues. A long drive, sailing wide. Mason pushes it to the near side. It bounces loose back into St. Louis territory. Gingras back for it. Gingras bounced one ahead to Federico. Gave it to McKegney over the line. Back to Federico. 2 well covered by Brown. Now on the near board. 5. Couldn't get it out. Paul Cavallini a long shot. Mason the save. Rebound to Troy Murray. Murray trying to dump it in, but it deflects to Pazlowski. And he cleared it to center. Murray able to shoot it back in. Paul Cavallini back for St. Louis. The ex-Washington Capital stands behind the net. And now, let's see, a penalty off the play as Federico may have tied up Larmer. And the Hawks look like they'll get a power play chance halfway through the second. 2-1 Blues on Sports Vision and BBM.
St. Louis penalty to number 24.
You get it done. That's why others can depend on you. And you want a truck that won't let you down. It's got to carry its load. No nonsense. Just good old-fashioned sweat and muscles. The 88 Toyota 4x2. It all starts at your Toyota dealer. He'll help with a deal that makes sense for you. Great truck, great deal. But you got to go see him. Because all work isn't your kind of style. So head to your Toyota dealer and ride with the best.
Well, I've never seen this penalty before. This is an interference penalty. Federico sneaks up on Presley, knocks the stick out of his hands as he's forechecking, and Federico gets a penalty for interference. That's something you learn in the schoolyard, in the skating rink, when you're a kid. Just take a swat at the guy's stick from behind. If he doesn't have 40 pounds pressure, out it comes. Nevertheless, the Hawks will get their first power play of the second period. And second of the game. They did not score on their lone power play in the first period, though they did have good chances.
Here's the draw to Bob Murray at the near point. Moving in, fires. Millen the save, rebound. Murray shoots again. It's a flex up high. Now Yanni holds it in. Yanni to Murray at the near point. Into the corner, Larmer. Dave Larmer looking for a play. Moved it back to Murray at the line. Again to Larmer. Back of the net for Savard. Dennis Savard in behind the St. Louis goal. Nobody in the slot for the Hawks. Not much Savvy can do with that situation. Now here's Vive in front shooting. He scores! Rick Vive! As the Hawks point men able to keep in a clearing attempt nicely. It pays off as Vive hammered it home. 2-2.
Well, Trent Yanni kept it in. It was a waist-high pass from Rick Vive, a hard one. And he was about 12 feet away from him. Hit the right shin pad of Yanni, deflected to Murray. Back to Vive. Vive cranks it up, uses the defenseman, and gets it through the stick of the defenseman. And I think the fact that it hit the stick, Millen pulled up and it went under him. Tie game, 2-2. The Hawks finally score on the power play. Federico, meanwhile, at center ice, discussing the penalty call with Bob Hall.
Assisted by number 6, Bob Murray. And by number 8, Trent Yanni.
Bob Murray and Trent Yanni assisting on Vive's power play goal at 10:42, his first of the playoffs, 44th of the year. And the Hawks have tied it up at a deuce. There's the play into the St. Louis zone. Troy Murray and Paul Cavallini bump hard in the corner. Puck squirts free. The Hawks hold it in. Presley back to the corner. He and Cavallini come together. Now McKegney took it away. He cleared it to center. Gingras for Federico, who's knocked off the play. Gingras rolls it back into the Hawk zone, taken by Brown. Gave it to Wilson. Now Presley. And he might have had a 3-on-2, but lost his balance as he was coming out of his own end. Now back in the St. Louis zone, Benning. Benning clearing it down into the Blackhawk end. Vincelette back to center. Dan Vincelette over the line. Bothwell rubs him off on the board. Tim Bothwell rolled it to center ice. Now taken by Manson. He dumps it back in. Then Cochran to the far corner, over skating it. Raglan the other way. And he just scoops one back into the Hawk zone. Here's Gino Cavallini hustling after it. Cavallini and Manson bump hard along the boards. Nyland hammered it to the far side. It bounced to Savard. And Dennis Savard works his way back to center. Now flying over the line, but it bounced over his stick. Boy, Savard's had real trouble in these two games with this rocky ice. Here's Savard, a shot from a bad angle. Millen stops it. Now Out to the line. Here's Nyland, the long drive, deflected just wide. Manson in after it, shoots one. Millen the save. Rebounded Millen, able to cover it up before the Hawks could get to it. Now Graham drops the gloves with Benning, but they won't get at each other. Cochran pawing with one of the Blues players.
Well, there's going to be a penalty originally for knocking down Savard in front of the net. He was hooked and pulled down. His helmet came flying off, and Graham wanted to get at Benning. Then he backed off, realizing there was a penalty called on St. Louis. This coming after Millen made two good saves coming from the point. Nyland let one go. Savard first let one go from a sharp angle. Millen made the save. Puck went back to Graham. He got it to the left point, and then Nyland. Nyland cranked it up. Millen made the save. The rebound came back the other side. Manson came in, took a look, let the wrist shot go. Millen made the save. The puck lay loose. He pulls it under him. Savard pulled down, and there should be a penalty called against Benning for that. And then Graham and Benning looked like they were going to go. And finally, tempers cooled, and the officials doing a good job of separating.
Well, Graham and Benning are both in the penalty box, and the Blues will get the additional penalty here, it looks like.
For cross-checking and 2 minutes for slashing.
Benning's going to get a cross-checking penalty and a roughing penalty. Graham just gets a roughing penalty. The Hawks get another power play. This will be their third power play of the game. And the Hawks with 2 power play goals in 9 chances. They scored a power play goal late in the game last night to prevent Millen from getting the shutout. That goal came at 16:45. Troy Murray scored it. And they scored their second power play goal here in the second period at 10:42 as Vive let one go past Millen. And the Hawks looking to go ahead for the first time in the series.
Face-off will be outside the Blues line. Here's the draw, taken by Bothwell. He fires it down. Now Yanni starts the Blackhawks away. Gave it to Bob Murray. Murray carries it over the line, then fires it around the boards. Millen put it to the far side. Yanni held it in. Back behind the goal, Dirk has time, and he clears it down all the way. Here's Steve Larmer. Racing back over the St. Louis line. Stops on the near side, left it for Bob Murray. Murray to the far board, up over the stick of Savard. Now chopped loose behind the net. Larmer after it to the near corner, left it there. Dirk took it away. Then Larmer got it back, put it to Yanni. Yanni to the near point, Bob Murray. Near corner, Larmer centered it. Vive fanned on the one-timer on a bouncing puck. Gilmore 2-on-2 the other way. Chips it into the Hawk zone. 40 seconds to go in the Chicago power play. Here's Wayne Presley into the Blues zone. A long wrist shot wide of the target. Came to the near corner. Thomas digs it out to the line and Brown. Far point Wilson. Into the corner and Murray. Troy Murray to the line and Wilson. Here's the long shot. Millen the save. Rebound far corner. Murray had it, then lost the handle. The Blues clear it down. Now as the Hawks start away, the St. Louis penalty over. Both teams at full strength. Presley lost it as he came to the line, and the offside call results.
The Blues doing a fine job in that penalty-killing situation, playing the box beautifully in their own zone, giving the Hawks the perimeter, but not allowing them any chances in the slot or in front of the net. the Blackhawks are going to have to take a page from the Blues on the power play. Just let it go from the point at every opportunity. Crowd the front of the net. Set up a screen, hope for a deflection or a screen shot.
By the way, Dwayne Sutter in that altercation with Roberts, I caught up with the action seconds after it had begun. It appeared that Roberts might have gotten the edge late, but Sutter must have done some damage early. Roberts hasn't returned yet. And linesman Kevin Collins has a smattering of blood over the back of his official sweater. So Sutter must have had the early edge in that altercation. And Roberts, who had an unbelievably terrific game last night, has not returned yet for St. Louis.
And what a great defensive play he made on Dennis Savard as he was put in by Steve Larmer. He had a break, and Roberts at the last second dove and poked it away from Savard. It's the best game I've seen Roberts play, and we've seen him play a lot of games with the North Stars, where he was outstanding last night. His goal turned the whole game around. It was a 2-0 game. Then Wilson, Thomas had point-blank chances. Millen shut the door. Roberts, with a great solo effort, went around 2 Hawk defensemen, beat Pang, and made it 3-0, and that was the game.
Face-off just inside the St. Louis line. Mike Rusinski got good reviews from Bob Murdoch last night and played quite well, but has not been given much of a chance in this game to get a shift.
Well, this is only his second shift. He made some nice plays last night in the limited ice time he had. He set up Thomas early in the third period for that great chance. He made a nice play in the first period on a drop pass.
Mike Rusinski, the pride of Wheeling High School, wearing number 34 for the Blackhawks. Here's the draw. Manson fires it in. Comes to the near side. Taken by the Blues, Mahar. Rick Mahar works it over the line. Flips it over the stick of Ragland, though. And Thomas starts the Hawks back. Gave it to Graham at center. Dirk Graham over the line. And a center one. It was well behind Rusinski, though. Back come the Blues. Here's a 3-on-2 if they hurry. Mahar over the line to Paul Cavallini shooting. Mason the save. Rebound Brian Sutter. Bumped in the far corner. And he fell on top of the puck. So the whistle sounds.
Mason making a save on Cavallini. A 3-on-2 situation. The 3 Hawk forwards got caught in deep. Mahar carried it up. Got the line. Got it across to Cavallini. The defenseman catching up with the play. Cavallini let a hard wrist shot go to the blocker side, the short side. And Mason was able to deflect it away. Steve Cavallini, boys, they must eat a lot of pasta, because I've seen the Hawk players take some good solid runs at them, and the Hawks have gotten the worst out of it. They've been bouncing off the Cavallini brothers.
Four minutes to go in the second period. The game tied at 2. Vasilevsky and Gilmore have scored for St. Louis. Graham and Vive have scored for Chicago. The scene shifting to Chicago Stadium Saturday night and Sunday night. 720 radio only for both of those broadcasts. Plenty of tickets still available at all the normal outlets. Dennis Savard now has Larmer and Sutter out there. Gilmore, Gino Cavallini, and Vasilevsky for St. Louis. Here's the draw. Keith Brown back of the net. His pass bounced away to Cavallini. A long shot. Mason stopped that. And Wilson bangs it to center ice. Here's Larmer over the line. Larmer to the near board. Left it for Brown. The long shot. He just missed the far post. Wilson held it into Savard in traffic. Tied up beautifully by Bothwell, but he held it into Larmer. Centered it. Hit the skate of Cavallini. As he had a man open in front. Now came to the near side. Brown to Sutter. Centering Larmer. A backhander and a save by Millen. Rebound to the Blues. Vasilevsky clearing it down into the Hawk zone. The race is on, and Blues touch it first. Cavallini a wraparound and a save by Mason. after the play kept alive by a hustling Gilmore.
Well, Gilmore able to just touch it before Brown. I'm not sure Brown thought it was going to be icing, and then finally someone screamed at him that it was. So he had to get on his high horse, but Gilmore reached across in front of him, tipped it, and then Cavallini tried to stuff it from the opposite side. So Mason had to be quick to get his skate against the post. This after the Hawks had some good pressure and a couple of chances. Steve Larmer, a bank drop pass to Keith Brown, who cranked it up. Just missed the far post by an inch. He got all of it. Millen didn't see it. Puck went back to the left point man, and then Larmer had a good chance on the backhand. Bob Murdoch again juggling his lines. That time he had Sutter on the right side and Larmer on the left side with Savard. Savard started the game with Graham and Thomas as his line mates.
Draw to the left of Mason. Here it is to the Blues. Hall a drive. Hit the crossbar. Brett Hall fired it by Mason, who I think got a piece of it, but then it got a piece of the post as well. On the near side, 5. Able to clear it to the St. Louis line. Gingras turns there. Gave it to Roberts, who's back on now for the Blues. Roberts dumping it in. Nyland bumped by McKegney back of the net, but he cleared it away to Vi. Rig 5 shot it to center. St. Louis dumping it back in. Nyland just fires it back into the St. Louis zone. And Gordy Roberts takes control with 2.5 minutes to go in the second period. All tied at 2. Now Yanni in his own zone. To Manson. He shot it to center ice. Brett Hall works it back over the Hawk line. His shot is blocked and cleared to the neutral zone. Blues dumping it in. Dave Manson corrals. His pass missed Savard. And back into the Hawk zone it goes. And Manson took a run at Brian Sutter, almost put him into the Hawk bench. They grab one another there. Sutter takes a swing. Oh, he made a mistake. He got Manson going. Manson got in a couple of right hands on Brian Sutter. And now they grapple right in front of the Chicago bench.
Well, Manson shoved him hard into the sideboards, almost put him in the Hawk bench. Sutter took exception to it. He just took a poke at Manson, might have grazed him, but that upset Manson, and Manson got a couple or 3 straight rights. And Manson get the decision in that.
You know, Dale, it looked like Manson was just going to grab him and take the let it die there, and there have been several occasions in the early part of this series when Hawk players have squared off with Brian Sutter, and I think showing him a high degree of respect.
Well, he's a tough customer, and he can fight. He certainly doesn't have... Well, he definitely instigated, so the Hawks will get another power play. He was the first to start the fight, took exception, and then Manson, a tough customer, a big, strong, young guy. And Sutter, who's had a lot of problems with that one shoulder, and he's certainly willing to mix it up. It doesn't matter who. He'll go with anybody. But nevertheless, the Hawks get their 4th power play and a good chance to get the lead. Their 3rd straight power play of the second period. 2 for instigating and 5 for fighting for Sutter and 5 for fighting on Manson. The penalties coming with 1:45 to go in the second period. Well, clearly Sutter was the instigator in that altercation.
All right, the Hawks at the tail end of the period now with a power play opportunity. Power play has been a little better overall tonight, but the last one really went nowhere. The draw to the goal mouth where Mason gloves and holds.
Great chance here now, the last couple of minutes of the period, get a goal here in the power play. Get the momentum to go into the 3rd period and have the lead for a change.
Here's Trent Yanni. He got it to Savard, who's forced to turn into his own end. Now Savard, coming off a 131-point season. races over the line, lost the handle. Blues clear it ahead. Bozek chasing after it. A long shot. Mason stopped it. Taken by Larmer. Larmer got it to Vive. He scoops it in. Bothwell going back. Fell down. Savard took it away. Dennis Savard to the deep slot. Yanni. Near board Larmer. Steve Larmer hanging on. Side of the net for Savard. Works in behind. Vive standing right next to him. Now Dirk ties it up. Clears it, not out. Bob Murray kept it in. The Larmer along the board. Hawks have 5 stationary players. Here's Bob Murray to the deep slot. Now Yanni. Gave it back to Murray for Larmer, the one-timer, and a save by Millen. Rebound, Vive, knocked off the puck. Dirk steals and shot it into the Hawk bench. It hit Troy Murray, who did not see the puck coming. One of his teammates standing in front of him. It hit Troy Murray right in the side of the head.
Well, no wonder the Hawk power play struggling. The Savard's behind the net, Vive's behind the net, Larmer's in the corner. The 2 defensemen at the blue line. How do you expect Savard to make a play? Who's he going to give it to? Finally, Dirk was able to clear. Bob Murray tried to stop it. Thomas jumped up at it. Troy Murray standing up on the bench got hit in the side of the head. 41 seconds now remaining in the penalty.
There's 26 seconds to go in the period. With the injury to Murray, Graham comes out there at center now with Thomas and Presley. Now here's the draw. Taken by Wilson. He shoots it in. Presley to the near corner is tied up. Graham digs it out of there, but his pass hit a skate. Taken by the Blues. Tony Herkus, 10 seconds left. To Mahar over the line. Mahar to the far corner. Shoots one and a save by Mason. And that's going to do it for the second period. Only 1 goal scored in the middle period. The Hawks got it. Rick Vive on a power play. His first of the playoffs, 44th of the year from Bob Murray and Trent Yanni at 10:42. The Blues had 14 shots in the second period. The Blackhawks had 8. 2-period totals, 20 for St. Louis and 16 for Chicago. Pat Foley and Dale Talon, we're back in St. Louis. The Blackhawks and the Blues in Game 2 of this series. It's tied at 2 after 2.
Dave Baum talks with the day's newsmakers and you, weeknights until midnight. That's Dave Baum right here on WBBM News Radio 78. And a reminder, you can relive radio's golden age with WBBM's Radio Classics as Chuck Shaden brings back shows like The Lone Ranger, Dragnet, Lights Out, and many more, weeknights at 8 on WBBM News Radio 78.
By the way, in case anybody cares much, the St. Louis shot total is 21 at the end of 2 periods. They must have added 1 in the first. So the Blues 7 in the first, 14 in the second for 21. And the Blackhawks with a total of 16 shots through 40 minutes of play. Now there's a 15-second time left on a St. Louis penalty. No, the Hawks with a man advantage for that short period to start this third session. And here's the draw. Taken by Bob Murray. Murray comes to center ice. Trying to feed Thomas, but it slides free into the St. Louis zone. Around to the near board. Savard had it bounce away to Mahar. Here's a feed, and Bozek, or rather Ragland, just out of the penalty box, was busting, but the play is ruled offside.
Well, Bob Murray, good play, diagnosing the fact that Ragland had snuck in behind out of the penalty box and was able to reach back and deflect the potential pass from Mahar. Mahar trying to spring Ragland from behind, and Bob Murray did a good job deflecting it and forcing it offside only 22 seconds into the third period.
Steve Ludzik now between Larmer and Sutter. The Federico line with Paslowski and McKegney for St. Louis. The draw into the blue zone. Here's Ludzik hustling after it, but Millen out to play it. Now Paslowski puts it around to the far board. McKegney trying to clear it. Dwayne Sutter held it in. Everybody jams up in the corner, and the whistle sounds.
Again, some hard hitting. Dwayne Sutter with a hard check on McKegney. Cavallini came in and hit Sutter hard. Then Ludzik came in and returned the favor. Both teams very aggressive.
Dwayne Sutter, of course, all those great years with the Islanders. This is his 122nd career playoff game. That's more than anybody else for the Blackhawks by a substantial margin. Nobody else has played more than 70 games for the Hawks in the playoffs. Now here's the draw. Roberts a long feed, deflects of Insulet. His turnaround pass was behind Rucinski and winds up at center ice. Wilson clearing it ahead. Rucinski bumped off the play, and that forced the rush offside. Mike Rucinski, who last year finished the year in Salt Lake City in the International League, where he played for Hawk assistant coach Wayne Thomas. And Rucinski last year was outstanding in the playoffs. He led the entire IHL in scoring in the playoffs. He had 27 points in 17 games, including 9 goals. And that was more scoring than anybody else in the IHL last year during the playoffs. That's another reason the Hawks decided to give him a look at this critical time of the year. Now here's the draw to Bozek. Long feed for Ragland. Missing him. Winds up behind the net. Nyland clears it back to center ice. Taken by Benning. Rolls it ahead. Picked off by Thomas. Then he lost the handle, but Mahar in offside on the play.
Well, Thomas has lost the handle on numerous occasions, having some difficulty handling it tonight. The Hawks need him to get on track, and in a tough year, a frustrating season for Thomas. Almost picked it up on the off wing, way over on the offside, and then lost it as Mahar took it away from him, and it was an offside situation.
Montreal has blown out Hartford. That's a final now. 7-3. The Canadians take a 2-0 lead in the series as they beat Hartford tonight by a score of 7-3. Gingras in his own end. Gave it to Paslowski. He cleared it out, and the Hawks back in offside on the play. Another man that the Hawks need to get going is Steve Larmer. He has really seemed to be struggling here in the first 2 games of this series.
Well, he finished off the season with such a flurry and was flying, but hasn't been really involved in the first 5 periods of this series. He's got to get on track for the Hawks to be successful.
Steve Larmer with 41 points in this is 40th career playoff game. The draw shot down into the Chicago zone. The race is on. Brown has to hurry and doesn't save the icing. Doesn't get the icing, rather, as the Blues save it, but the puck cleared back to center. Paul Cavallini. His pass intercepted. Taken by Rucinski, who shoots it in. And Cavallini clearing to center ice. Bernie Federico tied up along the boards. Vive took it away to Nyland. Gary Nyland back to Vive, who carries it over the line. Barrels in, shoots one, and Millen was hugging the far post. Paul Cavallini starts St. Louis back, beating his older brother Gino. Gino in over the Hawk line to his backhand, shoots, hit the side of the net. Rebound to the near board Hull. He couldn't handle the bouncing puck. Back of the net it goes. Bob Murray to the near side, Rucinski. Bothwell took it away. Moves back in behind the net, centered it. Dino Cavallini couldn't get off a shot. Back of the net once again. Oh, Federico fell down of his own accord, but the Hawks will get a penalty. Hull a shot, he scores! Brett Hull, his 3rd goal of the series. 3-2 Blues.
Well, Federico fell down. Vince Lett was around him. Delayed penalty call. The puck comes back to the deep slot, and Brett Hull lets her go. Cavallini, who's had a good series, works hard in the corner. Vince Ouellette and Fedorko get involved. Fedorko goes down, and when he goes down, he swats at the puck into the deep slot. Now Brett Hull is drifting away and fading away, and still cranks it up and beats Mason with a long shot low to the stick side. I know Brett Hull's got a great shot. He shouldn't score from there.
Assisted by number 24, Brett Hull from Bernie Fedorko and Gino Cavallini at 3:09. 3-2 in favor of the Blues. Here comes Steve Thomas. Thomas to center, tied up there. Bouncing around to Savard, now Graham. Graham over the line to Thomas, far side. Moves behind the goal. Now centers, once Savard, a blast, and a save by Millen. Rebound to Bozek. He cleared it to center ice. Steve Thomas dumping it back in. Here's Benning. Brian Benning got away from a check, rolled it to center. Taken by Brown. He puts it deep into the St. Louis zone. Thomas, or rather Graham, barrels into the near corner. Ragland looking to freeze it. Savard picked it out of there, centered it. Ben Wilson had an open side, but couldn't pick the puck out of his skates. It was a tough pass, but the far side of the net was open, and the Hawks miss a great opportunity. 3-2 St. Louis on Sport Vision and BBN.
A great newspaper has to stay in touch with its readers.
What you writing, Mike?
Nothing about City Hall. You have to listen to their concerns.
Mike, should that be a full stop? What you've got there are related thoughts.
And reflect their varied views.
I'd make it a dash. Semicolon.
Yeah.
Semicolon. Semicolon.
Semicolon it is. But that's not so hard.
Run with it, Mike. It's going to be great.
Because we grew up here, too. Just like you.
Hawks with a couple of good chances. Savard takes it away. Perfect play, but Ben Wilson just happened to be a left-handed shot playing the far side and just couldn't pick it up for the one-timer. Nice try, but if it's a right-handed shot, it's a tie game.
Now the Blues come out of their own end. Here's Hall over the line. Brad Hull for Gilmore, centered one. Ben Wilson blocked it. Good thing, too, because Ragland was all alone in front. Puck cleared to center ice, and the Blues shoot it back in. Now Dwayne Sutter pushes it into the St. Louis zone. Gingras lost the handle to Presley, to Ludzik to the near corner. Ludzik knocked down. Presley digs it out for Wilson, a shot, and a save by Millen. Rebound held in by Manson, then Gilmore got to it and clears the center. Hawks dumping it back in. Taken by Roberts. Roberts ahead for Gino Cavallini. He sends it in. Taken by 5 to Manson behind the net. Dave Manson. This bangs one down into the St. Louis zone. Taken by Bothwell. He mishandled it. 5 knocked it away. Rucinski behind the goal. But Larmer was standing right next to him, and he couldn't make a play from there. And the Blues able to move out of their own zone. McKegney sending it in. Manson to Larmer. He's run over by Ragland, but he clears it to center. Blues back in, but offside on the play. 14 minutes to go in the third. 3-2 St. Louis on Sport Vision and WBBN.
You know what this party needs? Buzz McKenzie. Super party animal. Come on, baby, do it now, Buzz McKenzie. His name is Buzz McKenzie. Oh, party hard. With the party till midnight. A cold light. Puts me in a party frenzy.
Buzz McKenzie, party's right with only Bud Light. He knows everything else is just the light.
Buzz buzz gives motion to the ocean.
Face-off coming just outside the Chicago zone. Savard, Graham, and Thomas against Mahar, Sutter, and Ragland. The draw back into the St. Louis zone, and Roberts chasing it down. Over to Roberts, cleared it nicely to Brian Sutter. Now to Mahar, got around Thomas. Here's a 4-on-2 over the line. Mahar for Ragland, fired. Mason, big save. Hawks move the other way. Savard racing to the line, was tied up there, surrounded by 3 St. Louis players. Back come the Blues. There's Ragland trying to chip it in front, taken by Bob Murray. Boy, Savard hasn't had room to take a breath for the most part in these first 2 games. Here's Savard over the line for Thomas, cutting in, lost the handle to Graham, shot it wide. Puck bounced right to Graham, but he missed the target with a turnaround shot. Here's a centering pass, big scramble. Savard couldn't connect. Back of the net he goes. Gilmore ties him up there, knocked him down. Thomas in after it. The Blues want to freeze it, though. They do.
Well, the Hawks getting some good chances to tie it up. Luke Graham just turned around, saw the puck there in front, let it rip and just missed the far side. And then Savard tried to tuck it in after Thomas got it out front. Puck is deflected right to Graham, turns, gets all of it, and just shoots it wide. Bob Murray pinches in, keeps the play alive, goes in deep, gets it out front. Graham with another chance. Savard tried to stuff it, but Millen made the save. At the other end, a 4-on-2 situation. All 3 Hawk forwards. Steve Thomas takes a chance. He's the last forward back, and it's a 4-on-2. Mahar drops it in to Ragland. Ragland cranks it up high and hard. Mason makes the save. The Hawks come back the other way and almost tie it up.
Now the draw shot into the Hawk zone. Washington has tied up their series now. A final score, 5-4. The Capitals beat Philadelphia. So that series all even now. Here's the play at center. Bothwell had it knocked away to Ben Wilson. Wilson works it over the St. Louis line and had it poked away. Has to chase back into his own zone. Wilson flips it ahead to Ludzik. He clears it in deep. Taken by Bothwell, who shot it to center ice. Gino Cavallini rubbed off, but the Blues able to clear it in. Nyland carries back to center, and he dumps it in. Millen shot it to the near side. It winds up at center. Nyland is there. His pass deflecting to McKegney. Came back to Nyland in his own end. Gave it to Manson. Long feed right on the stick of Larmer. He steps over the line. Centered it. Rusinski, a shot. Nice save by Millen as Larmer put Rusinski in with a good chance. Now they battle on the far board. McKegney came away with it. Bounce one to center. Fedorko shooting it in. Mason to the far side. Rusinski rolled it to center. The Blues fire it back in, but the play well offside with 11 minutes to go in the third period. 3-2 Blues on Sports Vision and BBM.
By the most exacting of standards, you stand out. You're the best, and your car is no exception. It's simply exceptional. A first-class ticket to automotive luxury. No compromises. The 88 Cressida. It all starts at your Toyota dealer. He'll help with a deal that makes sense for you. Great car, great deal. But you gotta go see him. When you're at the controls, you can afford a great time. So head to your Toyota dealer and ride with the best.
Mike Rusinski almost scores his first goal in playoff competition. Larmer, nice little move. Perfect pass. Rusinski didn't get all of it, but dangerous shot. Millen gets the toe on it and deflects it wide. The Hawks have had some good chances in this third period.
Now the draw. Trent Yawney with room to center. Hammers it in deep. Over to the far corner, Graham battles, but Brian Sutter got to the loose puck and shoots it into the Blackhawks zone. Back of the net, Sutter. Brian Sutter centered one, picked off by Yanni. And Trent Yanni shooting it into the Blues end. Tim Bothwell cleared it to the far side. Here comes Mahar. Rick Mahar crossing the line. Moves to the near corner. Now behind the net. Tied up there by Yanni. Everybody battles in the corner now. And the whistle sounds.
Keith Brown having a stare down with Raglan. Raglan has been very physical in this series. Just threw a hard check on Dennis Savard in the corner. Troy Murray has not returned since he got hit in the side of the head. I think he got hit in the right ear. Getting some stitches. It's doubtful whether he'll return, but a clearing attempt by Dirk, the Blues defenseman, on the tail end of a Hawk power play.
Here's a long drive right from the draw. Mason got a piece of it. Now Brown plays to Dwayne Sutter. Cleared it to the St. Louis line. Shot back into the Hawk zone. And an icing call against the Blues.
Right off the draw, Brett Hull with another good shot from the top of the circle. And Mason got his body in front of that.
You just talked about a physical player in this series, Herb Raglan. There's another man. Gino Cavallini has been throwing his weight around any chance he gets.
A lot of guys have been bouncing off him, too. They've been attempting to get at Cavallini, both the Cavallinis, and he's like a big, strong boy. He works extremely hard along the boards and in the corner. He's got an assist on the third Blues goal, which is the go-ahead goal at the moment. 3-2 with 10:03 remaining. The Hawks looking to get that equalizer.
Face off to the right of Millen. There's the draw. Bouncing into the slot. Ludzik centered one. Big scramble. And Presley knocked down. Couldn't control it. Now Brown a long shot. Knocked down at the defense. Blues clear it to center. Brown's dumping attempt deflects up into the seats. And the face-off will be in the neutral zone.
And Steve Ludzik goes to a sharp angle, tries to stuff it. The rebound goes up front. The Hawk forwards go to try and stuff it, and the puck is deflected back to the defense, and then Brown tries to keep it in. The White Sox return to Sports Vision this weekend as they host the Seattle Mariners. Join John Rooney and Tom Paciorek live from Comiskey Park at 6 on Saturday and 1:30 on Sunday for the Sox and Mariners, only on Sports Vision. Chicago's winners on cable.
Bernie Federko now works it over the Hawk line. Federko turning in the near corner. Now trying to center one. That's picked off out in front. Larmer to Rucinski, deflecting to center. Just missing Vive, though. Now in his own end, Nyland. Cleared it to Mike Rucinski. And the Hawk rookie shoots it in. On the near side, Pazlowski. Got it to the Chicago line. Larmer there. Steve Larmer to Rucinski. Lost the handle. Now they battle along the boards. Larmer gets it in deep as the Hawks head for a change. Gaston Gingras to Herb Raglan on right wing. Long feed to Brian Sutter over the line. Sutter a shot, and he shot it just wide. Taken by Yanni. Back of the net to Bob Murray. Now Murray for Presley, feeding Yanni. Trent Yanni gains the line. He's slashed by Raglan right in front of referee Hall, but the play continues. And the puck shot into the Chicago bench.
The Hawks have had 4 power plays. The Blues have had 4 power plays, and it's going to take a lot more than that to get a penalty situation or a power play opportunity for either one of these clubs. Hawks, though, looking for that tying goal, either get a chance to get the go-ahead goal and force it into overtime, one of the two. But the Blues are a very tough team defensively, and Millen has been sharp once again.
One more final score is in tonight. Boston beats Buffalo 4-1. The Bruins won big last night, and they win rather decisively tonight. They lead the series 2-0. Boston over Buffalo tonight, 4-1. There's the draw taken by Brown. We're down to 8.5 minutes remaining in the third period. 3-2 in favor of the Blues. Brett Hall's goal in this third period, the difference. Hawks shoot into the St. Louis zone. Benning back for it. Trying to clear it. Brown kept it in. Keith Brown rolled it to the far circle. Savard. Savard, a spinorama backhand. That's blocked out in front. And away comes Ragland. Dumping it into the Hawk end, chasing after it. Down he goes. A penalty coming up on Brown. The Blues will get a power play. 3-2 St. Louis on Sports Vision and BBM.
Новая хоккейная форма Купира CG самая лучшая для скорости, удобна, эластична и придает мне уверенность, потому что ты никогда не знаешь, кто в другой раздевалке.
For our game, this new Cooper CG Pro Girdle is the best protection ever. Hitting or being hit. In the corners or grinding it out. I feel good because you never know who's in the other room.
Well, this was a penalty. Brown reaches across, grabs the right shoulder, and pulls Ragland down as he attempted to get to a loose puck. But at the other end, Ragland slashed a two-hander on Trent Yanni as he tried to go wide. That was clearly a penalty as well. They're going to call it one way, call it the other way.
Well, here's a game situation. Hawks need a kill to stay alive in this one. Face off to the right of Mason. Here's the draw. Brett Hull to the line. Benning to the far board, and Hall threw it in behind the net. Gilmore after it there. Centered one. Nobody in front for St. Louis, though, and Dwayne Sutter able to bounce it to center ice. Now Gilmore back over the Hawk line. Turns to the near side. Gilmore hanging on along the boards. Now walking in front. Here's the drive. Hit somebody in the slot. Gilmore to the near corner. Out to the line, and Gingras. Back to Gilmore. Now the drive. Mason stopped it. Rebound to Gilmore again. Cavallini working hard in front of the net. A centering pass, a big scramble, and Mason will get to it and cover it up. Much as Rick Vaive does on the Hawk power play, Cavallini paying the price in front of the Chicago goal.
Hard to move a big guy like Cavallini, and Trent Yanni trying to do so, but he gets tied up in the process. And a screen shot by Gilmore. First through the legs of Nyland. What a save by Mason there. The rebound comes back to Gilmore. He tries it again. This time he was looking for a possible deflection. He tried to feather it out front. It hit Cavallini, deflected into the crease, and Mason covers up. 1:07 remaining. This is a must-kill situation. Hawks trailing 3-2, 6:51 to go in the game.
There's the draw to Wilson. Wilson pulled away from a check. Here's a 3-on-2 Hawk rush. Wilson over the line for Larmer, fires. Millen, big save. Blues the other way. 3-on-1. Over the line, Federico. Centered one, a shot. Mason, rebound. Right through the crease, rebound. Mason again. He stopped Paslowski. How did he do that? Here's Paul Cavallini. Into the far corner, McKegney. Near corner to Federico. Out to the line, Cavallini. Center one, McKegney hit the side of the net. Rebound, Ben Wilson. He fires it into the crowd. And with the Hawks short-handed, I don't think it's going to take a little more than that to get another penalty.
Oh, end-to-end action, a short-handed situation. Nice play by Ben Wilson. Oh, he really took off. Forced the play, cut it around in his own zone, a 3-on-2 situation. Savard on the right side. Larmer on the left side. Dumps it over to Larmer. Larmer with the wrist shot, a hard one. Millen just gets a piece of it with the stick, deflecting it in the corner. And then it's a 3-on-1 situation at the other end. And Mason makes the save on Paslowski on the feed from Fedorko, and then makes another save as Paslowski had an empty net opportunity on a turnaround backhander. And somehow Mason got a piece of it as he dove back to the near or far post. Well, close calls at either end, but the Hawks almost tied up, and then the Blues almost had the lead. 26 seconds to go on the Keith Brown penalty. Well, you don't want to give Vernon Fedorko this type of situation too often, but the Hawks had to take the chance, trailing. Nice pass, good save. The puck deflected in behind the net. Kozlowski turns, has the empty net. He has unbelievable room. Backhander slips off the toe of his stick right to Mason at the far post, and he's able to deflect it wide.
Face off to the right of Mason now. There's the draw. Yanni puts it around the board, gets it back into the Blues zone. Gingras got it to center. Fedorko knocked down there by Ludzik, who clears it back down. Here's Benning for Gilmore. Larmer stopped him. Then Gingras carries on. He's forced to turn. Meanwhile, the Hawk penalty is over. Both teams back at full strength, and a huge kill for the Blackhawks here to keep themselves alive in the game. Brett Hull a long drive. Mason stopped that to Nyland. Now Larmer trying to feed Rucinski. Got it now over the line, and Thomas was tied up along the board. Back into the Hawk zone it goes. Taken by Manson. Dave Manson's pass stolen by Roberts. Bounces it to center. The Hawks dump it back in. Gord Roberts. His pass missing Herkus, sliding into the Chicago zone. This is going to be ruled an icing call against St. Louis. Down to 5 minutes left. 3-2 Blues on Sports Vision and BBM.
Okay, Blues fan. In these days of self-service gas stations, computerized banking, and understaffed stores, it seems that no one has the time for personal service anymore. Well, at True Value Hardware stores, we haven't forgotten that we're working for you. And whenever you have a question or a problem with a do-it-yourself project, we'll do our very best to help. So the next time someone wonders where personal service has gone, you tell them it's still hard at work. Right in here. True Value, more than just a name. It's our way of doing business.
Troy Murray comes back with 4:57 remaining in the third period. Stitches. Maybe got hit in the right ear.
All right, now Savard go after the draw with Mahar to the right of Millen. Here's the face-off. Back of the net to Bothwell. Bothwell tied up by Savard, trying to dig it out of there. Centered one, didn't get it through the traffic. Bouncing to Vive. His pass picked off. Here comes Ragland. 2-on-2 for St. Louis. Tees up a long one. Fires it well wide. And Vive couldn't get it out. Mahar shoots one. And a save by Mason. Rebound far corner. Brian Sutter tied up there by Wilson. Puck came loose to Ragland. Threw it around the board. Now taken by Savard. Then he overskates it. Here's Sutter centering. It deflects out in front. Corralled by Vive. Rick Vive trying to feed Savard. And boy, all sorts of trouble for Savvy on this ice in the first two games. Hawks dump it in. Now on the far board, Benning clears it to center ice. Manson shooting it back in. Taken by Benning. Cleared it around the near side. Nyland kept it in for Thomas in the corner. Centered one at the feet of Graham, though. And the Blues clear it to center ice. Back into the St. Louis zone is Benning. 3.5 minutes remaining now. Blues up by 1. Brett Hull. His goal is the one that's the difference. Hull shoots it in. Manson is back along the board to Dirk Graham. Now Troy Murray fires it into the St. Louis zone. Gilmore retrieves. Right wing to Pazlowski. Rolled it to himself. Now gains the Hawk line. Pazlowski trying to center it. Goes through to the far corner. Taken by Bob Murray. Murray feeding Graham. His pass intercepted. Now taken by the Blues. There's Roberts. Clearing it into the Chicago end. Bob Murray back for it. Larmer on the near side. Up the board for Rucinski. Now Bob Murray. His dump-in attempt didn't get through. The Blues shoot it back down. Taken by Larmer. 2.5 minutes to go. Larmer mishandled it, but got help from Yanni. Brent Yanni got around to check. 3-on-3 to center. Got around another man, but he lost the handle on it. Back into the Hawk zone, Federico. Trying to center one, but Brown able to tie him up nicely, and Brown falls down on top of the puck. 2 minutes remaining. 3-2 Blues on Sports Vision and WBBM.
Great. But we wanted a Bud Light. Bud Light!
If you want the great taste of Bud Light, ask for it.
Now go get pizza.
Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
Pat Foley and Dale Talon in St. Louis. 3-2 in favor of the Blues. As St. Louis looks to take a 2-0 lead in the series. One other final. New Jersey has tied up their series. They beat the Islanders tonight 3-2. So that is even at 1 game apiece. Now Brown feeding Graham. Trying to dump it in. Didn't get it through. Blues shoot it into the Hawk zone. Pazlowski far corner. Lost it to Brown. And now a penalty way off the play. Ben Wilson, I think, is going to go off. And it was so far off the play, it's an interference call. I never saw it.
Now, this type of situation is a game situation, 3-2, and he calls a penalty like that. Unbelievable. For interference. When the play was well in the neutral zone, deep in the Hawk zone, an interference call. Unbelievable.
Boy, oh boy, that's... And now Savard's going to get a penalty, too. He just yapped at Hall. And Dennis Savard will be sent out. Here's Larmer grabbing his buddy, trying to cool him down a little bit.
So the Hawks are going to have to do it shorthanded and without their top scorer, Dennis Savard.
Did he say a game misconduct or 10?
I think a 10-minute misconduct.
A 10-minute misconduct for Savard. Well, Dennis Savard, who through the 80 games of the regular season was held without a point in only 18 out of 80. The Blues have shut him out 2 for 2 in the playoffs. 2 games, no points.
Well, that was a brutal call by Hall.
Awful.
Just awful. And so what? He interfered. Big deal.
Well, the guy, if he did interfere with him, the guy was 80 feet away from the puck or any sort of opportunity to make a play. Well, I want to make one thing clear. If the score stays the way it is, Bob Hall didn't beat the Blackhawks tonight, but he stuck it to him at the end of the game. But the St. Louis Blues have had another fine effort here this evening. There's the draw, Troy Murray. Carries it over the line. Trying to cut for the net. Tied up by Gingras. Now everybody wrestling in the corner. Puck came free. You know, I wonder that this is a situation where a Hawk player would dare just take a dive, and you'd think that if Hall had any conscience, he'd even it up. Here's Gilmore sending it ahead. Taken by Larmer, clearing it down all the way. Brian Benning. The Blues finishing the game on a power play. Benning dumps it in. A minute to go. Back out to center. Benning for Hall over the line. Cuts in. Bob Murray forced him to turn. Murray knocks it loose. Benning held it in, though. Back of the goal it goes. McKegney and Brown bang together. Cleared to the near side. Now back into the corner. Blues try to make a play, but Thomas steals. Steve Thomas got it over the line. He's knocked down, but the play continues. And 20 seconds left. Fedorko into the Hawk zone. Tied up by Manson. Vasilevsky carried on to McKegney. A blast and a save by Mason. He holds on with 12 seconds left.
Well, 2 penalties called by Hall in the last half of this third period. One on Brown as he pulled down Raglan, but Raglan two-handed Yanni at the Blues blue line prior to that. Didn't call that. And then he calls a cheap one on Ben Wilson for interference when Sutter was half the distance from the play. He was in the Hawks zone. The play was almost at the Blues blue line. So the Hawks trailing 3-2 on the Brett Hull goal at 3:09. Had some chances. Millen shut the door, but Hall certainly didn't do him any favors in the last half of this third period. $13,185 on their feet, saluting the Blues. Here's the draw. Bouncing in the Hawk end. Larmer takes over, but St. Louis has taken a 2-0 lead in the series. Greg Millen getting congratulated by all his teammates as he has backstopped the first 2 wins here in the St. Louis Arena. And Bob Murdoch is yelling for all he's worth across the ice at referee Bob Hall. You can hardly blame him. That's terrible. What a way to end the hockey game. In a 3-2 hockey game in the second game of the playoff series, and he calls 2 penalties on the Hawks in the last half of the third period, and the last one especially for interference on Ben Wilson. Unbelievable.
The only goal of the third period, Brett Hull, his 3rd goal of the series from Fedorko and Gino Cavallini at 3:09. The Blues outshot the Hawks 10-6 in the third and 31-22 for the game. The Blues lead it 2-0. The final tonight, 3-2 St. Louis. We'll wrap it up after this.